2022 and by extension 2023 is a big year for Wear OS, with Google entering the market this year with the Pixel Watch. But how does it actually stack up against the market-leading Galaxy Watch 5? Well, here's everything you need to know. So there's a lot separating the Galaxy Watch 5 and the Pixel Watch, not least the fit and finish. One major upside is that the duo both adopt traditional circular watch shapes and what we describe as minimal in the respective chassis design stakes. Google only has one size option available, and if you don't like small wearables, then the 41mm torso might not be to your taste. Samsung offers the Galaxy Watch 5 in a smaller 40mm and a larger 44mm option, which we have compared to the Pixel Watch here. This is quite a big difference in terms of overall size and shape, but that said, the Samsung Galaxy Watch does look normal, while the Google wearable looks positively small on most wrists, although those of you out there with small wrists will be happy for a smaller wearable. If you've ever used the Galaxy Watch 4, then the Watch 5 will be familiar. While circular, is quite boxy, angular, and has a completely flat display. Meanwhile, the Pixel Watch is rounded, bubbly, and has a button-like aesthetic that feels a little bit more fashion-oriented. Which you feel is the better looking will depend upon your own preferences, but overall, there's quite a lot of differences in terms of the hardware approachability here. One major downside to the curvy Pixel Watch, though, is that the display edges are fully exposed, including to accidental damage and danger, and this means that a drop from, or a clash even, with a surface or object could be pretty disastrous. Gorilla Glass 5 covers this screen, and it is fairly strong, but it won't protect from major trauma. The aluminium chassis and flat sapphire glass screen of the Galaxy Watch 5 should fare a little bit better, but you can scuff and dent that metal frame. It should withstand more use and abuse by virtue of this design difference though. Because of its stainless steel build, the Pixel Watch is actually 3 grams heavier than both the Galaxy Watch 5 44mm and a few more grams heavier for that 40mm option. The difference is maybe a little bit more noticeable than you would have expected. The watch strap mechanism though with the default Galaxy Watch band is one that we think most people will be more familiar and comfortable with, while the Pixel Watch uses that Fitbit style band that clasps with a push button system. The usage of a proprietary connector means that bands are few and far between right now, but it is a nice mechanism once you get your head around it. Samsung has stuck with a standard pin connector or pin lugs here. This allows you to use all manner of cheap bands and any of your older bands from smartwatches previously. Add in the wider array of colours, and the Galaxy Watch 5 has a little bit of an undoubted edge here if you want to combine colours, styles, and then more on top of that. Interestingly, the Pixel Watch and the Galaxy Watch 5 displays can reach a maximum 1000 nit peak brightness, and both of these look absolutely excellent. This extra brightness is going to be perfect for outdoor viewing, but it's very rarely active at this brightness level and has to be in the most bright environments to reach that figure. What's immediately evident though is how well the Pixel Watch hides its sizable bezels, a major complaint ahead of time, compared to the Galaxy Watch. Each AMOLED though is high resolution and looks great given the small size with great colours, deep blacks, but it is worth noting that the Samsung smartwatch has the edge with a higher manual brightness level that you can set than the Pixel Watch. It's an absolute no contest though when we start to do things like compare the lifespan of the Pixel Watch 44mm version and the Galaxy Watch 5. However, the smaller 40mm option has a slightly smaller 284mAh internal cell that has a similar lifespan to that of the Pixel Watch. If you care about battery life though, the 44mm Watch 5 is capable of around 36 hours in our experience on a single charge, compared to the best case scenario of 24 hours with the Pixel Watch. Both of those will have that always on display disabled, and it is something we suggest with both of them. One notable we have to say right out of the gate that favours the Pixel Watch is an exponentially better pairing process with most Android phones, as because Google Fast Pair is supported, it will instantly be recognised by your Android phone and ready to link with that device. This makes the process seamless on any Android phone that has access to Google Play services. You still though need to download a dedicated Google Pixel Watch application, but this is a quick and easy setup procedure with hand holding all along the way, making it easier for non-tech people to get connected. The process of linking the Galaxy Watch 5 to a non-Samsung smartphone is not quite as seamless. using the dedicated Wear OS application is absolutely fraught with issues in our experience. Downloading the Galaxy Watch wearable app requires a plugin for the Watch 5 too, and it's by no means difficult, it's just less intuitive and can be frustrating with pairing failures, quite common at least in our time using this smartwatch. If you use a Samsung Galaxy phone, the process is infinitely better. You'll get a fast pair style pop-up that allows you to instantly initiate wearable linking and is definitely a little bit more like Android Fast Pair. Both smartwatches do though run the very latest Wear OS 3.5 once you've paired and set them up. Google's vision of this is clean, lightweight, and it feels like an extension of the Pixel smartphone series, particularly the quick settings panel weirdly. Samsung's iteration is quite heavily modified. Some of this is beneficial in One UI 4.5 for the watch. The app drawer is one of the more visually appealing aspects, and the settings menus have handy hyperlinks to sections that you may find useful, and it's one of those extras that we would like to see more manufacturers adopt, even the Pixel Watch for instance. I will say that notifications are definitely handled far better on the Pixel Watch, making a scrollable list easier to manage and sift through, especially when using that rotating crown, which is one of the biggest hardware differences. There's also the bonus of double the onboard storage. 32GB of storage does allow you to download and access more offline content like podcasts, music, and then other files on top of that. At no point though does the 16GB allowance on the Galaxy Watch 5 feel like it needs to be expanded, at least in our time using both of these smartwatches. Google Assistant integration is also baked into both of these, although you will need to update that on the Galaxy Watch 5, and the processing does seem to be a little bit faster on the Pixel Watch, but it's pretty much neck and neck in our testing, even though the Exynos W920 is a far better processor than the Pixel Watch's Exynos 9110 and that Cortex M33 coprocessor on top of that. We would say disabling the activation is certainly something we'd suggest for expanded lifespan though on both wearables. Samsung has committed to 4 years of OS updates with its 2022 flagship smartwatch. Disappointingly, the Pixel Watch is only confirmed to get at least 3 years of OS updates on top of that. The only bonus here is that Google's wearable is likely to get more functions courtesy of a Pixel feature drop. If you value long-term support though, the Galaxy Watch 5 definitely beats the Pixel Watch. It's also worth noting if you're worried about performance, it's quite impressive just how well the Pixel Watch hangs in there. That said, the Galaxy Watch 5 with its more impressive processor, although it does have a slightly less amount of RAM at 0.5GB less, 1.5 versus 2GB, is a lot smoother in our experience, especially once the device is warmed up and ready to rock and roll. If you're wondering about fitness tracking, well, the addition of Fitbit to the Pixel Watch is not quite what it probably should be, at least at this stage. As it stands, it's a nice but somewhat confusing addition that feels more tacked on than it probably should do. You can track a number of workouts, and it's a huge step up over the rudimentary Google Fit suite. Data is held within the Fitbit application on your phone and on the device, but historical data and in-depth metrics are held hostage behind a $9.99 per month Fitbit premium subscription. That said, you can get most of your metrics well catered for with the free tier, and for most people that will be more than enough. Samsung though has made a few minor tweaks to its own suite. For starters though, the improved bioactive sensor on the Galaxy Watch 5 is a big step up, and the sensor is now larger and should make better contact with your skin, resulting in more accurate readings and therefore fitness tracking data. To access this information, you'll be heading into the Samsung Health application, which is similar to the Fitbit app in layout and functionality. It does though hold historical data without an extra fee. Overall though, fitness tracking is far better catered for on the Galaxy Watch, given it has a better track record, Samsung that is, of wearables. The auto tracking feature also means that workouts is going to be less likely to be missed on your part, and the wealth of modes definitely exceeds the Pixel Watch's fairly rudimentary option through the Fitbit application. If you want all health tracking functionality though, sadly some of this is locked to Samsung Galaxy phones. ECG readings are available to all Android users though with the Pixel Watch, but not on the Galaxy Watch 5. While the Galaxy Watch 5 does have more sensors, part of that upgrade, including a temperature sensor, you can't use some of these functions without that Samsung phone, so it becomes harder to recommend for the fitness focused. Sleep tracking though and heart rate measurements are available on both watches. The Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 does have the extra ability to check things like body composition, like your body fat analysis. On top of that, with the on-device snore detection when you're sleeping, neither of these options do exist on the Pixel Watch, so if they're important to you, you might want to look in Samsung's camp. As for which is the right choice for you, well, if you look at the raw specifications and the hardware, it's hard to suggest that anyone would choose the Pixel Watch over the Galaxy Watch 5. Samsung's wearable has several key advantages, including a better battery life, a more durable design, plus multiple size options for you to purchase if you don't want that bigger option or even the smaller option. It's not also in Samsung's favour though. The Pixel Watch does impress with its simplicity and its ability to be used with any Android phone without losing out on features. Samsung's annoying limit does lock or lose functions for those without a Galaxy smartphone out there. That means that even if you do choose a smartwatch, you might miss out on features like that ECG functionality and a few more things on top of that. Where we think the Galaxy Watch 5 really shines though is in its price point. It's actually far cheaper and will likely last longer because it has a more capable chipset under the hood and a longer support window. Add in longer fitness data tracking records without the addition of subscriptions, plus a wider potential array of health modes, and the scales do tip heavily in favour of Samsung's wearables, even with some limits on them. The Pixel Watch is being sold as a premium wearable, and it certainly does look the part. When compared directly to the competition though, it becomes a harder sell, but still a solid companion nonetheless. Google may have put up a first, or at least a solid first smartwatch effort, but we have to say the sad fact is that the best Wear OS watch crown still certainly belongs to Samsung when comparing these directly. I want to know though, which are you choosing and why? Let us know down in the comment section below. It's always interesting to hear which you would choose and your reasons for that. Hopefully though, this has helped you make an informed choice between the two best Wear OS watches out there right now. But until next time, this is Damien with 9to5 Google saying thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.